I would definitely say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be very expansive, not just with the comics, the books, the novels, and the video games, but let's not forget about the live-action Star Wars TV series, and of course the new Star Wars films to arrive in the near future by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are going to handle everything moving forward. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are now in a phase of desperation and damage control. What they're essentially trying to do is that they're trying to regain many of the lost fans from the sequel trilogy. There's no doubt that when we saw The Last Jedi, I'm sure all of you remember the shocking experience back in December of 2017 where the fan backlash was essentially brewing. It was boiling over the weeks leading into the new year of 2018 at the time, where that also had a very big hand in the box office results for Solo: A Star Wars Story, and then the Disney CEO at the time, Bob Iger, went on to pretty much blame the concept on the box office results for that movie having to do with the frequency issue. Essentially, frequency issue meaning that too many Star Wars movies coming out close together. That had nothing to do with it, in my opinion. It was all resting on The Last Jedi backlash, pretty much ended discussion right there. Now, looking at all of the new Star Wars projects, one particular project that a lot of fans really aren't looking forward to all that much is the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series that will be handled by Kathleen Kennedy, and of course, Leslie herself, where she's going to be giving us a different take on Star Wars. Now, with that being said, currently Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are very much dedicated to building this new Star Wars universe, especially for the TV shows and the new Star Wars films to arrive in the near future. However, though Kathleen Kennedy no longer has creative control over the Star Wars brand, she has been hard at work on developing the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series. Now, it's explained that one of her main plans for her new TV series is to erase many pieces of the philosophy of the Force that George Lucas created for the Star Wars franchise. And let me just say that that's going to be a very much big mistake, because when you think about it this way, erasing key moments of the philosophy of the Force only breaks Star Wars. It only breaks things into multiple pieces at that point where it's going to confuse the fans. You look at all the other projects that have been made by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and George Lucas himself, the man who created this brand back in, of course, 1977, by erasing key moments and key aspects of the philosophy of the Force. This could very well have something to do with the Wills, for all we know. It could have something to do with the Cosmic Force. There's a lot of things in the Force that Disney is actually going to experiment with all these new movies and TV shows, but this one in particular, could it very well break Star Wars? That's the biggest question of all. Given that Kathleen Kennedy only has one project that she's able to work on, thankfully, this could very well cause a lot of damage. Moving on. Now, Kennedy has been in the talks also with actress Brie Larson to become a part of the new Star Wars universe to create new fans for the Star Wars universe. Kennedy, however, wants to have Leslie Headland rewrite specific key elements of the philosophy of the Force, and Bob Iger and Chapek are not happy with this decision by Kennedy and are said to be in negotiations with Kennedy based on her contract and Headland to fine-tune these plans so that it does not create a new backlash against from the fans, like what happened with The Rise of Skywalker and more so The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson. Disney really can't afford another backlash. There's really no doubting that. You really can't afford another backlash from, of course, the fans because of what happened with The Last Jedi. We've seen what The Last Jedi did to Solo: A Star Wars Story, and hence what it did to all of the Solo films that were in development. Not Solo as in Han Solo, I mean like the single movies, the spin-off films. There were over 10 Star Wars movies that were in the early development phase. I don't know if you guys knew this. Originally, they were going to have a new Star Wars movie every single year. That was going to be their plan. A concrete plan until Kathleen Kennedy put that to an end. Now, Rian Johnson has also been in the talks with Kathleen Kennedy to come back as a director for the new Star Wars TV series to direct a handful of episodes. However, both Kennedy and Rian have had creative differences on how the directing style would be done for this new TV series, and that Rian is still focused on his Knives Out universe to create his own brand moving forward. Kennedy, however, is still sticking to her plan to erase many aspects of George Lucas's philosophy of the Force, and more with this new all-female-led Star Wars TV series that may very well be a disaster just waiting to happen. And once again, that creative difference there between herself and Johnson, it can tell you right now that she's bound to have creative differences with anybody, maybe even Leslie Headland later down the road. That's very much possible. And that's just in her nature, it seems. It doesn't seem like that she really leaves everything up to the creators. And I think that's one thing that really needs to be changed with this one project. Even though I'm not really looking forward to it at all, I will say that I am looking forward to what John, of course, Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas have in store for the new stories. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.